Hey, I wanted to do a quick update video. I haven't done one in several days publicly. I've obviously discussed a lot of stuff with the private trading group, but I haven't done a lot of public content. So let me do an update that I can share across the board. Now, some trades, I'll show you guys my trades that are from the private trading group. I haven't shared those publicly. Those are just for, the group members, but I'll share them in this video and just kind of show you what we've been doing so you can get an idea of how my trading strategy and models have worked. I've been really on fire since I've come back, taking some time off from the market. It can go both ways. Sometimes I might come back and be really rusty and it's really hard to get back in the groove. This time it worked out quite well, not just because when we came back, not because after I came back, we started a really strong bull run, but because when I came back, I identified the really bullish models, and I told you guys, if you guys watch my videos, you have no excuse for not making a lot of money on all this bullish action. When we first dumped down to 30K, I said we might get a quick wick, but this is the bottom. We're going back to all-time highs. And sure enough, we got a couple wicks, one wick down to 28.8K, and other than that, we held at that support structure, at that support level, and skyrocketed back over time to all-time highs where we just achieved those new high levels. Since then, more recently when I got back in, when I first re-entered into the game, I said more recently that we are going to have an imminent short-term multi-week correction before a multi-month bull run. That happened. We had the next weekly pump. Then I anticipated another weekly correction that was going to take 3 to 6 weeks. That weekly correction only lasted like a week, and then we immediately started going back up. So we've been super bullish since I got back in, and my long and midterm models have been so insanely accurate. That was the only thing I was really wrong about, was anticipating one more multi-week correction before we got to all-time highs, and it ended up being like a 7-day correction. It was like barely a week, if anything. Other than that, it's really been amazing how accurate my mid and long-term models have been. Ethereum, I predicted this wave 3 for a 40% run. If you follow that over, we ended up going 38.9%. So, it was pretty much exactly what I had anticipated. If you go back to when I had shared this potential wave 3 target to the 1618 extension, I didn't specify when it would happen. That's why I drew it so crudely here. But if I drew it more accurately, then it would have looked more like this. Oops, here we go. Wave 3 would have been over there. Wave 4 correction, and then wave 5. Now, the question here is, are we correcting yet, or are we going higher? Because right now we're at that 1618 extension, 4,400 and change. That's where wave 3 got up to, and then we started correcting a little bit. Now we're bouncing a little bit more. Now, looking at the daily model, it looks like we should be coming down further. We need that stoke to bleed off a little bit more before we can start a new momentum shift and start that next run up. However, it might not be necessary because we have had several hyper bullish cycles here where we've remained incredibly bullish. The RSI is getting high, but we're not quite overbought yet. We're still in a position where we can continue to run up. We do have some bearish divergence right here. If you see, we're trending down on the stoke, but up on the price action. So there's some bearish divergence, but not on the RSI. So until the RSI shows bearish divergence, there's a really good, strong possibility we can maintain that hyper bullish heading on the stoke and keep going higher, which means we could potentially see Ethereum hit 5,200 at the 2618 extension. That would be the next logical step if we break through this 1618 extension. So right now, at about 4,450, a little bit lower, that's the main resistance that caused the prior rejection where we just started dipping down. Now we're turning up a little bit, and if we're able to turn up, we could continue upward way past that prior top. You'll see on the weekly model, the stoke is getting high, but it's still not that high. So even though we do have somewhat of a wave pattern forming, we could still continue to go higher on Ethereum as well. Same thing with Bitcoin. We got to the all-time highs exactly as I expected, but we could go higher. We might be seeing, what did I just do? I hate when that happens. I don't know what I just accidentally hid, but what was that? What did I do? Whatever. Sometimes things pop up and I quickly click it without realizing what I did. So on the weekly model for BTC, this could be the formation of a doji. So if this is a doji, that candle would be a reversal, although we don't really have much of a wick down below. We'll see how this candle ends up. It may be irrelevant candle style, but there's still a day and 8 hours left on this weekly candle, so a lot can happen. Looking at the daily model, we could obviously push higher. So same thing goes for here. The weekly model is not that high on the RSI. There's still plenty of room to run. And in this case, we did get the initial run up, a nice wave 3, wave 4 correction. And on this dip down, I was expecting all these individual shorter term moves too, and that's where my shorter term models started to come into play over the last month. At first, my short term models weren't really that good. Now they're really locked in as well. You'll see that if we drop down to the lower time frames, like the 4 hour, mostly on the alts. I've been talking about that for a while, how the alts looked like they were incredibly bullish, and I was waiting for some big breakouts. I started going through some of the altcoins. I shared some of those publicly with you guys. Most of it I was sharing just with the private trading group. And those models have been on fire. So a lot of people have been making a lot of money. I'm really proud of one trade in particular that was only for the premium members. So in Flux Trading Group, there's a basic membership and a premium membership. The basic group gets all of my analysis, all of my charts, all of my trade ideas. The premium group has a chat with me, one-on-one, phone calls with me, voice chats, live streams. Also, there's some exclusive trades that I only share with premium members, and that trade went on a 60% breakout run, and that's still just the beginning. So I'm going to share that with the basic members too, but it's still only available to the premium members, and I can't wait to share that publicly. I'll show you guys, but that model was stellar. I mean, it performed so well. That model was so incredibly accurate. I'm really proud of it, so I can't wait just to share it with everybody else, because even if it's too late to get into that initial 60% run, I'm still expecting a major pump and an extended run, multi-month run over time. So there's still a lot of opportunity there. You'll still have a chance to get in and catch that run up. But it would still be good to review my initial entry analysis, because that could be very educational. So the next time you see something similar, you might be able to make a very strong bullish analysis, which will allow you to get in early on the next move by seeing kind of how I anticipated it so accurately this time around. So I'll share that one with you later on. For now, showing you the shorter term models. If you look at the 4 hour model, these are my IchEMA dynamic support. So I have the EMAs, then I have the top of the cloud. You have confluence here with a horizontal support, plus we had the initial reversal in the 4 hour Stoch as it hit the 99 EMA on the top of the cloud, which is creating a really strong support cluster here with 3 different types of supports in place. However, we didn't get that big of a bounce here. We pretty much moved sideways and slightly up during that last reversal. So we'll see what happens when we come back down, which we're probably going to come back down soon, just a little bit. Are we going to hold right at the top of the cloud and then continue upward? If that happens, we're going to start another big run up. But if we break through the top of the cloud, we're probably going to correct a little bit lower into the mid 50s and potentially all the way to the bottom of the cloud. We might get down to as low as maybe 54, 55, 5600, or sorry, 55, 56K. So we might be able to come down a little bit more, and that would give people who missed the last run up a nice entry to catch the next wave. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, to show you what's been going on with the alts, you can see some of my trades have been doing exceptionally well. Now, Sun, I just shared yesterday with the group, and I said this looks incredibly bullish. I was bragging about how amazing this model looked, how I was able to get in and place my stop loss right here at 5.5% below my entry, and I explained my reasoning for putting my stop loss so far down. 5.5% is pretty far to put my stop loss below my entry price, but I did it because I saw such a bullish model here with so much potential, and sure enough, that analysis was spot on. Right now, we are sitting on an 18.5% breakout, and that initial pump is still just the beginning. I'm really bullish about this model. It's not even too late to get in. The only downside is now it's too late to get in with a tight stop loss, because now we're no longer on top of those key supports. If you're new to my model, I would suggest watching my older videos about my IchEMA model, but right here, just to show you how it works, you can see this is the 55 EMA, one of my main IchEMA dynamic supports. As we came down and that 55 EMA was holding so well, as we bottomed out and started turning up on the stochastic oscillator down here, that created a confluence where I had 2 of my strong bullish predictors showing me the same bullish confirmation at the same time. So once I saw that, I became extremely confident about this trade, and I'll show you guys exactly how it looked. I'll show you. I'll post some screenshots or something to my YouTube account and show you with just single frame images, and show you in the group exactly how I explained it. But I told everybody this is amazingly bullish. I'm really